Hi, Simone.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the
Hi, everybody.
prayer hour.
Ooh. If you're watching, please say hi. Please say hi to us. Please say hi.
Say hello to hello.
What? Help him to work.
He is helping me. He's sustaining me. He done woke me up this morning. And gave me breath to breath.
Did I see your response? Yes. I think you said you'll let me know or something. Hey, Blair. I see somebody else. Valdez. Raven. Howdy.
Raven.
Howdy.
Raven.
Hey, so you guys, I don't know if you guys read the post that was on Help I'm Married. Oh, my earrings. Read the post that was on Help I'm Married. If you read it and you guys want to join in, please let us know because we'll send you the link to the Zoom. Basically, the title is If I Have to Ask, I Don't Want It. If that's something you want to weigh in, please let us know and we'll get you the Zoom link. Pardon
Jamal's
me
a
for
John
second.
Cena fan, by the way. So I'm sorry if y'all don't like John Cena. Yeah, this is just how it rolls in my house. Yeah, but how was y'all date been today? While Kendra walks away. Sorry, I'm being nosy outside too. Bruh, what is going on? So interesting topic today.
Started 8 with Bryce.
Let's see.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm about to. Probably getting stuff straight.
How's everyone evening going? Did you ask that already? Sorry.
Maybe I did.
How's everyone evening going? Okay, I just sent you the link. Everyone, how's your evening going? How was church today? If you went to church, how was if you went in person or if you went if
Yeah,
you
I'm
were,
about to go put them off eyes on. You better not test
if you
the man
were
of God.
via virtual YouTube.
If you were in the building.
No, thank you. No,
if y'all gonna get y'all vaccines. No. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I think eventually they're gonna make it a mandate. So, hey,
you know what came across my mind, to be honest.
Get your shots.
As far as the mandate and everything, what came across my mind is what we used to hear all the time. You're gonna need
the mark of the
you're
beast.
Gonna need the mark to buy bread, to do anything. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. And I'm like, is this it?
They're gonna put a chip in you.
Yeah,
and
all
you
that.
To have 666 branded on your back or
yes,
your face.
just to get food, to get food, just to go into places. You're gonna need that.
I'm the same with you, Simone.
That's touchy. I'm in between. Yes.
Yeah, I'm there too.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing to get it. We had our little battle with COVID ourselves.
Yeah.
Glory be to God. We're good now.
We were one of the fortunate that it was like, I don't want to say it was a breeze, but it was it was cool compared to some of the ones that some of our loved ones. So, you know,
lost the taste, lost the
no goodness of
smell,
our own.
you
Just
know,
thank you, God.
it was drowsy, we lost weight. It was crazy, but you know, grace of God, we got through. And our kids didn't get it, you know, at that time. So it was just me and her.
Yeah.
It was a rough stretch for like 2 weeks.
It was.
It was rough.
It was. And
hey, I hear you, but I don't get the flu shot either.
Oh, you can get the flu shot. Understood.
I hear you, brother.
Understood.
I know my job. They just told us basically like the statistics of it, like the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson is new. The percentage wise, Pfizer and Moderna looks better. It's like 99%, but Johnson & Johnson is like 60% right now because it's new. So it's like you got to go through all of this stuff, and it's like
ironing out the kinks.
Yeah, and it's only one shot. So a lot of people, I think my job basically told us, hey, get your hands on whatever you can. You know, if it's Pfizer, Moderna is 2 versus Johnson & Johnson is 1. And they were saying too something about like the Johnson & Johnson one isn't them putting like the disease in you. Like they had a whole chart and everything. It was crazy, but yeah, I'm in between two. Like we had it, we battled it. Getting a vaccine
in between,
it's like But onto the subject.
Yes, onto the subject at hand. So about a couple days ago, I posted something. Let me see. Can I Pfizer Moderna 94, 95, I posted something. Let me see. Can I share the screen?
Thank you, Bridget, with the updated stats.
Yeah.
Can you post what?
So can I share the screen? Yeah, I can. So can you guys see this?
If you can see the screen.
If you can screen.
Put a thumbs up.
If you can see the screen, please put a thumbs up.
Thank the Lord she ain't had no nasty stuff on the screen.
That's true.
Because we'd have had a whole nother meeting.
That's
true. I'm married. We lost our platform.
Right. Oh my God.
Amen.
Yes. Okay, here it is right here.
Yes, Bridget, you just throwing stats. We should have had you on talking about the vid, as Kevin Hart calls it, the vid. But you see this woman of God on the screen here. I don't know her name.
Okay. So you guys can see this. I forgot about this delay. It's kind of weird.
It's all good. They can see.
Okay. So her name is Frida Kahlo. We're going to go with that. Frida Kahlo told her husband, I don't want it to stop. We'll be right there, Blair. Frida Kahlo told her husband, I'm not asking you to kiss me, nor apologize to me when I think you're wrong. I won't even ask you to hug me when I need it most. I don't ask you to tell me how beautiful I am, even if it's a lie, nor write me anything beautiful. I won't even ask you to call me to tell me how your day went, nor tell me you miss me. I won't ask you to thank me for everything I do for you, nor to care about me when my soul is down. And of course, I won't ask you to support me in my decisions. I won't even ask you to listen to me when I have 1,000 stories to tell you. I won't ask you to do anything, not even be by my side forever. Because if I have to ask you, I don't want it anymore.
That's what I thought you. But we can dive into that.
Okay, wait 1 second. How do you stop? Oh, stop the share right there. Howdy, Blair. How art thou?
What it be?
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
What's going down?
So yes, about that post. Let me bring it up on my tablet here. But about that post, she said if she doesn't have to, if I have to,
Yes.
she has to ask for it. She doesn't want it anymore. Does anyone, before we get into the debate, does anyone agree or disagree with that? And then we can go into why.
I disagree.
Is that something that's just
I'm just being leaky. That's crazy.
why is it waiting fast enough? Yeah. Does anyone agree? Does anyone disagree with that? Because me,
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially in like marriage relationships, like how could you even, how is that even gonna function? Like, how are you gonna function if that's your mindset? Like, oh, because I had to tell you, I'm not gonna, I'm pretty much, there's no use for that person. It's crazy.
Mhm.
There's someone feedback, and there's someone. Okay, thank you, Eric.
Feedback in the background? Is that feedback or is it someone's watching TV? Because it's probably Jamal. And
it may be Jamal. He has his YouTube videos that he likes to watch.
Molly, can you turn it down or can you go in your room and watch it?
Yeah. He said no.
Did he say no or
He
was
said
that the
no.
TV?
No, he said no.
Molly, can you turn it down? Okay.
Jesus, these children of these days.
I ain't even mad at him. Sorry.
But yeah, thank you, Blair, for hopping on. And this is it's an interesting conversation.
It really is.
I mean, we've had that debate of like, yo, all right, I'm not a mind reader, but it's like, well, Kurt, I want you to do it just because I don't even know how to phrase it. It's like, I want you to do it. It's almost like do it out of the kindness of your heart, but it's like, if I do it wrong, I'm going to feel just as bad as me not doing it at all. It's crazy. It's such a crazy, like, I'm not going to tell you nothing.
What do you mean?
Huh?
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm saying as far as the post, like, basically, if I have to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
man, why does the alerts keep coming on?
Yeah, I don't know. So, Blair, what you think about it? What you think?
Well, I'm gonna tell you when I read the post and I read it like a couple of times, I'm kind of torn between both agreeing and disagreeing.
Uh-huh.
And I disagree because because communication is extremely important in any relationship you get into, whether it is a marriage, it is a business, it is ministry, it's personal, family, whatever type of relationship you get into, even with God, communication is important. It is critical to it. So that's one side of reading it. Then reading it again, and I'm looking at what she's describing in the post. So I'm reading, I'm saying, okay. So as I read it and I'm looking at what she's talking about, and I'm saying, I get where she's coming from, because a lot of the things that she's saying is like basic ABCs of marriage.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily stuff that you have to guess about, or it's basic stuff,
right,
when you read it. And so if the husband, so if the spouse can't handle the basics that just go along with it, then it speaks to two things. It speaks to, one, somebody has no clue of how they're supposed to engage, live, and be active in the marriage. And also that there was little to no brutally honest bare bone conversation before the marriage to understand what's really going on.
Okay.
So that's why I was torn, because it's the basics that she's really asking for.
Right.
It's not, it ain't so much that she's asking for stuff that as a husband could easily get by you. You know, it could probably get by you. You could probably miss it in some way. You know, it's basic. I mean, you know, even, if you look at the first one, that's the ABC of marriage.
Nah, that's facts, bro.
That's part of the game.
Yeah.
Nor apologize to me when I think you're wrong.
Right.
Okay. That's accountability. That's basic accountability. You know, so a lot of this is not, you know, I won't even ask you to hug me when I need it most.
Right.
That can be kind of tricky, but then at the same time, if you really are observant and if you're really paying attention to your wife and understanding certain moods, certain ways that she is, certain ways that she look, certain, you know, if she answers questions in a certain way, it kind of tells you, okay, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you answer like that, you're drawn back, you're not really talking, I know something's wrong, or I know at least you need a hug or something. Okay. That's just on a basic natural level. If you jump to the spiritual side, even if she doesn't tell me I need a hug, the spirit in me should trigger something that I should be able to pick up in the spirit. Something is off.
Right.
This is kind of, you know, what I need to do. So I was really, really torn because I'm on both sides of it. Like, okay, I get it. Then on the other side, like, I don't get it. But a lot of it is the basics, ABCs of what I call the ABCs of marriage.
Right. Okay. We got some more people coming in, Blair. So, but yeah, no, you know what, Blair, you opened my eyes, man. Because when I read it, I didn't think from the aspect of it being like you said, basic, like the basics of it's communication. Like, if I can't read if there's something off my wife, if she has to go to that level of like, I'm not gonna tell you at all. It's like, yo, like, what am I real? How disconnected am I from her? Like, I didn't think of it on that level. So, kudos, man. I didn't even think to think that level of like, that's communication. Yeah.
But for me, Kurt, when y'all posted it, that's why I had to read it a few times.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, let me read this thing. Okay, let me read it again. Okay, let me read it again.
Yeah.
Because it said something different to me every time I read it. Something jumped out a little bit differently, which made me be like, oh, wait a minute. Most of this is the basics of like, you know, going in. Like, if you guys are married and y'all don't kiss and hug, that's a huge problem.
Come on, man of God.
Big problem.
Understood. I mean, so you said that you're on the fence.
So you were like,
I'm on the fence right now because this is so much.
Yeah.
The fence right now.
Understood. So this is you guys know Blair. Blair is not a stranger to M2M, but we have some new faces, but they're not strangers to the page. No. This is Simone and Antoine. Which one is it? Antoine. Okay, yes. Yeah. Simone and Antoine Johnson. Thank you so much for joining. Yes. Bless it. I almost won.
We don't want no more kids. We don't.
Yeah. Right.
Hallelujah.
Right.
Hallelujah. Y'all make all the babies y'all can.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Look at that. The man of God said, whoa. I don't receive that prophecy.
Making her drop the camera.
Right. He's like, no, not that, man of God.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah. How do y'all feel about that post? I think Blair, like I said, Blair literally, I didn't think of it that way, but it's just like, okay, yeah.
Wow.
It made me just the whole concept of reading that. Now I'm like, okay, I can see how a person can, like, it'd be 50-50. Go ahead, guys.
It's funny because we just talked right before we got on, and we're on two different pages. So I think this will be interesting because we don't agree.
Same here.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
I think oftentimes because I'll just share from my personal experience, like I was used to the dating version of him. Like I didn't have to tell you to like open the door for me or plan random date nights. It was already done. So I got spoiled. So then when we got married, he got a little lax, and I'm like, okay, why do I always have to bring up, oh, let's go out on a date night? Or he used to always hold my hand and stuff before. Now I gotta do a little reminder every now and again. And his thing is, well, I'm not naturally affectionate. And to my mind, that's confusing because that was you in the dating process. So what's transitioned between the dating and the marriage? Because you should still want to date me. And so my thing is, like, if I continually like told you what my needs were, if I'm a real priority as your wife as I should be, then I shouldn't have to continue to remind you of the same thing. If we're having the same conversations, then either you're not intentionally listening, or there is some I don't want to say laziness. I think that's kind of taking place. Because as a woman, like always, whether I'm your wife, I still want to feel pursued. I want to still feel like the new thing you want to play with. Like even with the ring on my finger, even after having your children, I still want to feel prized. So you should want to take the initiative, be like, you know what, baby, let me sit and learn you today. Like, what's up? Like, how are you? Because you wanted to have those conversations before. Why is it now that there's a shift in the marriage? I think that happens. You get comfortable, but like, I shouldn't have to constantly say the same thing. I could get before, but you should learn me to a certain point. I'm with you the most, more than anybody else. And you know me physically, mentally more than anybody else. So why isn't that connecting?
So I agree with her to an extent. I think there's nuances to it. So the way I interpret what I read, and I came on late, so I didn't hear everything that the last gentleman mentioned. But the way I understood that post was that, I shouldn't have to tell you what I need ever if you know what I like. And I think that being in a relationship, you, like, both people, the man and woman, should talk about their needs and because needs change, right? Like what she needs now is not gonna be the same thing she needs 5 years from now. But I think up for men, like, I'm really simple. I'll just speak for myself. I won't speak for all.
Come on, like, man of God. Go ahead.
I'm a simple dude. So like, if she needs me to do something or whatever, like, just tell me. Like, I don't like to guess. But to her credit, after a while, there should be some things that just click, like, oh, she likes this, there certain habits or whatever. I get that. But to say I shouldn't have to tell you my needs ever or whatever, because you should know, I don't agree with that.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's all I got.
No, that's good stuff.
So Pooh, what about you? Do you Kurt? What about you? I can call you, Blair. I can call you Pooh, right? Can I call you Pooh on the air?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
What do you?
No, I mean, I think, like I said, when Blair spoke, it was like, I didn't think of it that way. So now,
what did you think of that way?
Just the whole, like, the basic part of it, like the whole relational basics that you should, you've been if I've been dating you for this long, it's like, all right, I should have picked up on something. I should have been trying to develop that and cultivate our relationship to that level, to where it's like an unspoken language almost. Like, after 5 years in, I should know that you don't like chicken or whatever it is. It's like, when he said that, I was just like, you know what? I was immediately like, no, I don't like that post. Like, no, like, what you mean you ain't gonna tell me? Like brother Antoine said, like, yo, you gotta talk to me. Like, I'm not a mind reader, so and then I think it's kind of like to me, it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, if I try to do what I feel you would want, if I mess up doing it, it's almost like it makes it worse. If that makes sense. Like, it's just like, okay, I tried to,
so like if you tried to do it and you messed up, are you saying messed up, or if you're saying like I rejected you?
Right. So like a rejection and just doing it wrong, because I think it's to me, it's like a mind reader. Like, okay, she would like for me to do it this way, but if I do it the wrong way, Kurt, you suck. Like, and that's not the way I want it. It's like, man, like, okay, I need you to tell me. Like he said, I need you to tell me so that I can be that fulfillment and not look at it as me not trying to fulfill your needs, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
I understand. I understand that. But on that, I don't want to say but, because I don't want to cancel out what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
On to add to that is in that area right there, as far as if you try it, or if you try to do it, or if you try to, and if you don't do it right, I guess communicating that. It's like, you know what? I know, boo.
Baby, it's all right. Come on,
I guess it's communicating that. So it's like, if you feel that, hey, in this area, I'm not really fluent in that. I'm new to that, or I don't really know what to do or how you do it. Do you mind showing? Like, how do you do it? How do you do that? How do you want to be loved? Like, communicating that. In some sense, in some people, because it's not just men, but in some people, it's just like, oh, I did it. You rejected me. I'm done.
Right.
I did it. You didn't. I didn't do it the wrong way, and you felt some kind of way, or maybe you yelled at me, or maybe the vibe shift, or the energy, or whatever you call it, the atmosphere changed. And now, now I'm not doing it anymore because you yelled at me, or you got mad at me. It's like, no, I really, like, if you would communicate, hey, this is what's going on. Because if you saw me, let's say, clean the bathroom. If you saw me cleaning the bathroom this way, for a minute, and you come and you do it, there's more than one way to clean a bathroom. I know. But as far as in my house, I like it cleaned a certain way. I like it clean, like I have it have a certain, like, okay, this is clean first, then this, then that. Okay, it has to start from the top to the bottom, whatever the case. If you can clean it your way, but it's kind of like, I have to, me personally, I have to allow you, right? I could be a micromanager at moments. So I have to allow you, literally get up, walk away, almost leave the house, just so I won't come in and check on what you're doing and how you're doing it. So what I do,
you hear this?
I just that's the way I'm trying to cope, because I don't want to be that. I'm not your mom. I'm not hovering over you. I'm not a mother hen towards you. I don't want to micromanage. This is our home. So in this area, I'm working on allowing him to do the things at his way. Now, when it comes down to you doing something for me, why wouldn't you want to do it the way that I can receive it?
I don't disagree.
Right.
Y'all can jump in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I will say, like, as a new mom, like, I was very anal about how I wanted my daughter to be taken care of. But I realized that him being a father, I had to give him the space and room to have his own, like, love language with his daughter. Cause like, I don't throw her or toss her up in the air. I'm like, okay, watch her neck. Make sure she don't hit the ceiling. Like, okay, let's watch that. And not trying to control the way that he parents, because he's a father. I'm a mother. Or even if I'm tired and I ask him to cook, not trying to critique what he got on the plate. If the flavoring isn't, to not my particular liking, at least he done made something edible.
You ain't have to say that.
Ooh, I knew it was coming because she grabbed that earring. So I knew something was coming that was a little uncomfortable.
I wanted to say something really quick though. Just the other, I think it's the caveat to the needs being met and stuff. And I won't get real graphic or detailed, but
Come on, man.
in the area of intimacy, right? There are things, and I think you all talked about this like a couple of months ago, whatever. But just in terms of certain things that she liked last time. Well, she's like, this is not what's working this time. And I'm like, well, it worked last time. Why? And so you're talking about needs met and knowing what your partner like. Well, it's changing. So again, that's why I think you got to be vocal.
Yeah.
It's like, you see this baby you holding here? Huh? It works. It works. It works like prayer works. It works. Huh?
Shut up.
But I can definitely identify Kendra, what you said, and with the Howard, same thing, intimacy, because there was a point with my wife, and she might be watching, so I'm gonna be very, very careful.
Oh my God.
TT?
She might be, I don't know if she is, she might, but so where again, when it came to intimacy, there was, I was kind of like my brother was, I was like, I mean, you was good with it last time, but she was like,
Right.
So
Right.
I was like, okay, well, tell me, show me what you need.
Yeah.
And she did it, and then even with the whole dishes thing, I think in general, most women and wives know about how you clean a house, period. It seems like they all are, because I was washing the dishes one day and she just walked in and was like, why are you washing them that way? That is so backwards. Why are you doing? And I'm like, and she kind of almost started to try to come in and take the dishes from me.
Preach.
To correct it. But I had to say to her, like, okay, no, listen, I said, in my brain, it makes sense this way.
Yes.
I said, as I said, ultimately, I said, are the dishes clean?
Come on.
Yes. Okay, well, if they're clean, why should it matter that I wash them differently? Yeah. So now when I'm washing the dishes, she just kind of walks in and just shakes her head like, ugh, and keeps going. But it's because she doesn't get the way I wash them, because to her it's backwards. Yeah. To me, it works.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the dishes get clean when we both do them. So I think there has to be some, you got to have the flexibility in there to, or like Kendra says, she leave the house, and my wife just leave the room. She don't even take it because I
don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because I'm gonna go back behind you, and I'm gonna like, all right, thank you very much. You did an amazing job. You know what? Nobody can clean this bathroom like you, really. So we go ahead and do.
That's funny.
Yeah. So.
And our house is opposite though. Like, I'm the one going behind my wife, like, I don't think this clean. And so I'm not gonna put a business all out there, but it's the opposite with that type of stuff. Other things I don't care about. But listen, if I got food from last week in the same cup, I'm wondering what's going on with this dish. So
you just said you wasn't gonna put her business out there.
That's good. My bad. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me. She
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm about to feed the baby, but this man, I will have clean clothes because he doesn't want me to put his clothes away in the drawer, so I leave them out. If I don't put them away, they will sit there for days and days.
I think I better kick us off of this now.
Johnson's out, huh?
And the crazy part, this isn't, like you said, it's great to have dialogue like this because everybody's house is different, but we can all relate. Like, man, my wife is the supervisor of if I'm cleaning something, And like you said, hey, I'm supervising her. Like Blair said, they come in the room and it's like they take the takeover spirit. It's like, all right, go on. I'm gonna let you do it. I'm sitting here washing these dishes. You come in here like, nah, I don't like that. Okay, go ahead. Show me how it's done. Go ahead. You better go ahead and wash some dishes.
And you walk away.
And I'm gonna walk away.
Get out of here.
Kurt, where you at? I'm upstairs on the game.
I don't like them.
Yes, sir.
Raven said, wait 1 second. Raven said, to put it in context as well, Frida's husband, Diego, was a serial cheater. So he wasn't exactly giving her all that she needs in her marriage. Well, of course, mighty God. Okay. So that's that good to know. I'm sorry, who else was saying something? I'm sorry.
I think Blair. Go
ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just waiting for you to read the comments.
The comment, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Yeah. Simone, you're on here, so the comment. It's a
hot topic.
It is.
Now that changed the dynamic.
That changed the dynamic. Yeah.
But I think it also points to what I said earlier, is that I believe now, after having been at this for a while, I believe that the success or failure of marriage is really determined before the marriage.
Unpack that.
Come on, preacher. Give me. Come on now.
Because if you don't take the time before the marriage to really have conversation between the two of you, and then also seek out the best and wisest counsel you can, so that you can understand what it is that you're really getting ready to engage into. Because the truth is, you're coming into a covenant, and usually covenants aren't made to be broken.
Come on.
You know, and if covenants are broken, then that means that there has to be some bloodshed and there may be some death. That's how serious covenants are. If you notice, every time God cuts covenant, when you see, there's always some bloodshed. That's how serious God takes covenant. So if you don't understand going in that you guys are about to enter into a covenant that is meant to last until you both take your last breath.
Yeah.
And that you're entering into something that is that's really not designed for you to leave it. Come into it. So if you don't have that understanding going in, then a lot of the issues that we see and a lot of the issues that present itself in this post, they show up. And so I think you have to win at marriage before you get there. And that's where I think the success or failure of marriage happen. And then if you don't get some good counsel and some wise counsel from people who can really show you how, because the truth is, a lot of men don't understand how to be husbands. They have no understanding of the assignment behind being a husband. They have no understanding of the charge that a husband is given. They have no understanding of the responsibility he has for that charge and for that assignment. And because they don't understand how to be husbands, they just go into a marriage thinking that, hey, I married her, it's all good. No, it's not. It's not just that, you know. And on the other side, there are some women who really don't understand what the assignment of a wife is. They don't understand the responsibility. They don't understand the charge of the wife, because it has nothing to do with cooking, cleaning, and watching the kids. That's a part of it, but that is not the essence of what a wife is. That's not, you know, that's just part of the game. That's just part of, that comes with the territory, but that's not even the most important thing in a marriage. It's not the roles. You know, this is a covenant. And so, you know, reading this post and now hearing that he cheated on her, I'm like, whoa, okay. So
Right.
there wasn't, and I don't know if you can say enough due diligence, but I'm gonna just use that word because I can't think of any other word to use.
Mhm.
I don't think there was enough due diligence beforehand to really understand, because I think most people, if they really understood what the covenant they were walking into, most people would not get married because it's a whole lot to take on and commit to.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's not a date. It's not hanging out. It ain't living together. It's not having kids together. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are just things that happen in the course of it, but it's so much more than that. And I think if people really understood it and were told, okay, this is what you're getting ready to walk into. Are you sure you want to take this on?
Yeah.
And I think most people would have second thoughts and would say, let me back away from that, because it ain't what you see on TV and movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Please know it's not, for everybody watching on Facebook, please know it is not what you see in movies. It is not. It is not what you read in a love novel in a book. That's fantasy. That is not reality most of the time.
You said a lot. You said a lot. I'm gonna tell you that right now. A lot got to be unpacked from
Disney messed
Jesus,
us up.
please.
Bridget said.
Goodness gracious. Okay.
Yeah. Disney messed us up.
Go ahead,
And
Johnson.
Bridget
I
said-
didn't mean to interrupt y'all. Go ahead, y'all.
Oh, no. But whatever Bridget said, yeah, this messed us up. And you know what? God gave us grace. So I'll keep it real. I wasn't ready. I was not, by far. God gave me grace to find who I was after we got married, but I had convinced myself like, oh yeah, I'm good, Jesus. I had kind of made my whole world about him before we got married. A lot of my relationship with God up until that point, when I became a teenager and I hit the boy craze, was conditional on like, oh, I'm gonna be a good Christian because God's gonna provide me with a great husband. And my whole basis and foundation was completely jacked up. And when we got married, he was like, what you expecting from me, I can't give you. And we had to have that real conversation. And it took me some time to be like, okay, yeah, like we were married and I'm just like, okay, now what? Like, because in the movies, like I loved them growing up, like they never really tell you what happens after the I do's.
Come on.
After the wedding day, when I'll say they walk off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And then reality hits, and like he realizes I'm kind of married to a stranger because you don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like thankfully, I think God knew that I was kind of determined to marry him anyway. That he gave me the grace and time to really like know who I was.
Yeah.
And so know what I'm presenting before my husband every day. And it's a whole person. I definitely don't think anybody else should do it that way. It's so much harder when you don't do things in order. And not even with yourself. I think God will give you crumbs, spiritual crumbs, to let you know if you're ready or not, mentally, physically, spiritually, because marriage is also taxing. It requires a lot of things. You thinking you come in constantly ready to take. Oh, boo boo. Yeah. Nah. And we realize there's seasons where he's gonna need to take more.
Yeah.
There's seasons where I'm gonna be required to give more. And I have to be selfless enough to recognize his needs and willingly give them to him without making him feel guilty for acting.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think like we talked about that a couple of weeks or like a week ago or something, but because we realized, a lot of times people say like, there should always be like this equal type of thing, and it's not always like that. Like I don't think life is like that. And so, we're trying to, or just becoming comfortable with understanding that, sometimes she's going to need to lean on me more, or I'm going to need to lean on her more, and just different like that. I think, I really appreciate what the other brothers said, because I think we, like Simone, and like just to echo Simone, we weren't 100% ready. We had wise counsel. Like we did marriage counseling for like a year.
Yeah.
Right? So we were all in it. But I think for us, on the back end, just like learning to make the adjustments, in order whether it's figuring out what each other need or the change in lifestyle, parents just taking responsibility as individuals to be able to show up when we need each other individually for marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. Because Antoine, what you said a lot was evolving. Just like basically, you know, it's just like, okay, marriage itself is evolving, you know, because it's like when from the dating into the marriage, from the courting to the dating into the marriage, you know, it's just always evolving, always changing, always. So, you know, in that, I had to learn, we had to learn, it took us a minute to get that, to get to the point of, hey, I think I wrote it down. I don't remember, but I know I remember writing it down. What how I've been for years. And then I welcome this person into my life, and I'm like, now I'm in covenant with them. I'm just not gonna switch. It's not like a switch that goes on that I'm just gonna automatically be like, we're gonna fit like a glove. We're gonna be what our spouses need. So, you know, in that, how it took us a minute to get to that place, because we were so, I don't want to say selfish, but we weren't selfless either. You know, it was like, you know, what about me? It was a lot about what about me. It's a lot.
Stand your ground. Like, we're gonna stand our ground.
And it's like, stand your ground.
Digging in, and it's like, bro, okay, 5 years later, it's like, okay, like, wow, like we were at odds over this. It's like simple stuff. It's like, man, like, okay, you could have just let that go, Kurt. Like, why did you hold on to that, or vice versa, whatever it is. So I think y'all hitting really like communication. Like, you can't go anywhere without communication. That's like a bedrock. It has to be there to be like, okay, what's the realistic goals of marriage? Like, oh, you need to be in that kitchen cooking, like you said. No, it's like Blair said, it's like stuff like that. It's like, okay, that's my dude. Like, we can work that out, because it's not gender based on she got to cook or he has to, you know, it's just like, it's silly stuff like that I think sometimes people going into marriage, that kind of kills the marriage, to be honest. It's like, that's so unrealistic to put that on a person. Hey, you a woman, you got to cook, or you the man, you got to, the man working part. We can talk about that, but yes, but yeah, just like the whole stigma of, hey, you got to do this. It's like, I think it's so unrealistic, and it damages the marriage before you even start. So
But just to drive in that lane just for a little bit. With that, I just want to let everybody know, whether you're married or you're looking to be married, marriage isn't like, there's no general goal or role of a marriage. You know, it's literally, I think, what is custom. Would you agree? It's custom to everybody. What helps? Well, there are some things that's general, but what works in the Troublefield's house may not always work in the Johnson's house. And Kendra Kurt Johnson, not just what with this Johnson may not work for that Johnson. You know, so with that, you know, there are things that's general, yes. But as far as goals, as far as what you want to do, as far as the roles, like Kurt was saying, it's not a general across the board, this is how it's going to be. So that's something that I would definitely say to people, like, hey, just because your mama did it this way, don't mean that you have to, because you ain't married to your daddy. Your mama's married to your daddy. You know, I'm married to Kurt. I'm not married to Grover. You know, Kurt isn't married to Darlene. So the things that they may like, the things that may work in their home, even though you were built in that, you were raised in that home, you have to do what works for your household.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody really, I hope you grasp onto that.
Yeah, like we're kind of in between, because you know, my parents, and I guess it's a whole nother topic in of itself, so I'm gonna be careful where I go with this. Discipline in our household, you know, my mom was just like, well, you know, we just gonna spank. And we discussed that maybe that's not always the best option, but knowing our kids and knowing what kind of, punishment they need in terms of like when it comes to correction.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Especially because of our young men are so exposed to violence as it is. Do I want to teach them that in my house? Because that's where they're going to see it first. Like, okay, well, I did this and this was the response. Like, and I'm not saying like, kids are stronger than we think, but I just think, I'm not saying that what you did was wrong, but maybe you didn't have the knowledge to make the best, you know what I'm saying? Like choices, like you didn't question, okay, well, this is just what it's done. That's just how we do it. Like,
Right.
there's no better way. Like, this is just, and then telling our parents and then vocalizing, communicating to them how we want our children taken care of when we're not in their presence is a challenge.
Yes.
So-
It didn't kill you. Yes, it did actually.
You threw a pot at me, Mom.
And I think just to add to what Simone said, like you said, everybody's household is different,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong way to
Mhm.
discipline your kids apart from beating them, right? You don't want to do that, but I just think that to your point, we're not going to discipline a parent the same way our parents
Yeah.
did, right?
Right.
Some things we may adopt, but not everything.
Yeah.
It works for our family.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Phil,
agree. Yeah, everybody, I mean, everything that you said about, you have to build your marriage, according to the specifications that's going to work for you guys. Because, if you look at everybody's house looks different when you walk into it.
Right.
absolutely.
You chose that house because it fit and suit your living style.
bro.
It fit and suit, in terms of how you wanted your house laid out. You walked through it. And when you found the house that fits you, that's the one you chose to live in. So you bought it, did what you had to do to move into it because it fits you. So you have to treat your marriage the same way. You have to lay it out. You have to build it and specify it, how you want. And I wanted to speak to what Simone and her husband were saying. I forgot your name, sir. I'm sorry. I forgot your name. Antoine, there we go. In that, when they were talking about sometimes the balance sometimes can become unequal depending on what's happening, because one spouse may have to lean on the other more than the other. And I'm kind of living that right now, because my wife is having some health challenges. And so I have to carry a little bit more than I normally would have had to carry. And there's, extra slack that I have to pick up that, I didn't have before. And so, but this is all a part of the whole thing of covenant and being together, because sometimes it does get off kilter. Because think about it. There were times in your life where, you couldn't walk, but God had to carry you. He had to carry you. He had to pick you up and literally carry you because you were unable to walk and get through that situation, by yourself. And
Right.
so the same way in a marriage, sometimes you have to be the one to, step up in that particular moment and take on more and have the compassion and the heart to understand that it's only this way because something has happened.
Yeah.
And it's not because, my wife has just decided she don't want to do anything. No, something has caused this unequalness to happen, and it's okay. But when I stood up there, I professed, for better or worse.
Come on, man.
I've said that whether you sick or well, I am going to be here.
Come on, man.
I don't care who walks away. I'm going to still be here, regardless of what happens. And sometimes we say our vows, but I don't think we understand what we're really saying, because there are going to be times in marriage where things can get really dark. Things can get really bad. Things can, and for whatever reason, it's a 1,000 reasons why, a marriage can go this way or go that way.
Right.
The question is, can you stand there and stay there and still be 100% all in, even if the situation has you feeling like you want to be all out. And you
What?
still all in.
Woo!
That's a lot, you know, to like, I'm ready to leave, but I can't leave because I gave her my word.
Say that again. Say it again.
I want to leave,
So churchy.
What?
but I gave her my word. I gave her my word. And so there's times in the marriage where now you have to be the word that you've given.
Yeah.
And it's gonna call on you, and it's gonna call on you and call you out to see, okay, you said it, but are you really about it though? Those things happen. So that's why looking at that post, it in reading it, there was so much that just kind of came at me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, whoa, I'm like, something got lost in translation and understanding, which is all symptoms of communication. Something got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
Something went missing. Something went awry to bring her to the point to even say that, because that means that really could mean that she noticed that you weren't paying attention. That you just stopped being, you disconnected yourself, and you just were like, I'm a body here, but my mind is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
So
Blair, you done said something. I'm gonna try to say what you said in short term, because wow. No matter what's going on, can you stand on what you said before that altar? Good gracious.
Yeah.
Because
that was good.
It's like, and
can you be there? Can you be all in even when you want to be out?
Because I mean, situation. Because like situations happen, and then I think unfortunately the culture now is like, we quick to like get out of stuff. Like we quick to get out of that covenant. And it's like, I don't view it as a covenant. That's just a piece of paper. Like literally people say that. And it's like, yo, that's literally, like you said, it's like a blood like that's a covenant, yo. Like you can't just treat that like, oh, okay, that's my ex-wife. It's like, wow, you can just dismiss that. And then, you know, especially get into people have kids and all of this stuff. It's just like, yo, somebody said, can you stand the rain? New Edition said that. Huh? That was deep, Blair. That was
Before we read this question, exactly, that's what I was thinking, Blair. Like, yes, Frida was married to a serial cheater, but this isn't just Frida's story. I agree. I was part, like I said, I'm on both sides, but I'm more so on the agree side than I am the disagree. Because like Blair said, something has happened.
Right.
There has been a disconnect. There has been a misunderstanding. There has been something that has changed, something that has turned off or turned on, that is like, you know what? You're not paying attention like you used to. You're disconnected. We're disconnected. I don't want to say just you, but we're disconnected. We're not, something is, the flow is off. Yeah, I'm gonna read Erica's question. 1 second. Hey, Daryl. Something is off. Something has changed. Something is different, and it's not for the better. So in this sense, it's like, you know, again, Frida, she had her challenges. I'm not married to a serial cheater, but I feel the same. I get it. I understand where this comes from, because we have lived that. We've lived that. So, you know, in that, she's not asking, because, you know, basically, if I have to ask, I don't want it anymore. And it's like, you know, to the point of, well, have you asked before? How many times have you asked about the same thing?
Oh, man.
And yes, the evolving happens. So yeah, what I liked years ago, I like to be kissed on this side of my cheek. You know what? This year, I'm on this side. You know, have I communicated that? And what have you done with that communicating? because that's the thing, has that happened, or have you stopped doing it altogether because we have gotten comfortable? That's a whole nother subject. In
Yeah.
marriage. Simone's started off the conversation with that.
Yeah,
Simone
common.
and Antoine.
Yeah.
I'm common. I'm comfortable. So I don't feel, I called it chase, but what was the word she used? Pursued.
Right.
I'm like, hey, I've mentioned that to him. Hey, I like to be chased. And it's like, well, why? It's like, I want to know that I'm still a prize, because guess what? I don't look like I did, when we first met. I have a bunch of gray hair.
Blair, huh?
You better watch it.
Brother, I got grays all over.
You better watch it. You better. I didn't gain just a smidge of pounds, just a pinch. Mighty God. Stomach, it's not flat anymore. It didn't have stretch marks. Now I look like a zebra cake. So it's like it's so many things that's going on. So hey, I want to still know.
He said a zebra cake.
A little bit.
Whoa.
So I want to know, do you still love me? Do you?
All right. Before we go off the cliff,
I did.
Blair, I'm gonna pose the question. Erica asked us a very good question. She said, "What are some healthy expectations for people to have now when they're unmarried in preparation for marriage?"
That's good.
Let that one sit.
Yeah. I do want to say first, Kendra, what you said at the end, that's why I'm on the fence on disagree and agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one side, I'm saying like some of this is basic stuff. Like, but then on the disagree side of me, I'm asking what you ask, and you actually articulated it for me by saying, okay, have you ever talked about this ever?
Right.
I mean, ever been brought up at any? That's on the disagree side. But
yeah.
Okay, she said healthy expectations.
Healthy expectations.
I think
even you in the community, you can type it in.
Yeah, type it in.
This is a little touchy for me because we also have found ourselves, and I know I have, in marriage, of we can easily misplace expectations because there are some expectations that you can place on your spouse that she's not really capable, or he is not really capable to handle. Because there are some things that you have to get from God because you can only get them from him. There's some things only God can be. And that's on both sides, husband and wife. There are some things only God can be. And that's why now this is me. I don't ascribe to you that you have to be his or hers everything. I can't subscribe to that. Right. Because the only person who can ever be capable of being everything is God himself. He's the only one that can be everything a person needs, because he is also everything that you don't even know you need. So to try to place that on another spouse, that's unfair. That's unfair. So I think one healthy expectation is, do not expect them to be everything to you. That's one. Do not expect that, because you will be let down at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
Don't expect them to not hurt you. Don't expect them to not say something or do something that may disappoint you, let you down, hurt you. Don't do
Offend
it because
any of
you're
yeah.
setting yourself up.
Right.
God is the only one who will never disappoint, never hurt, never let you down. None of that. He's the only one capable. So, so that would be one. Would be don't expect them to be everything. But you can expect them to be everything that they're required to be because of the covenant.
Mm.
You can expect that. Like you should expect that they should love you. You should expect that the person should be all in. Okay. You should expect that they should, if you have a relationship and if you are saved, you should want your spouse to be there. Now, I know it doesn't always happen that way, and it doesn't. Okay. But that is something that's a healthy expectation that I do want them to have a relationship with God, to know God for themselves, because this is where I am.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I get that's a couple healthy expectations. Those are the two ones that are coming to mind right now that stand out, because I hear that a lot. I hear, oh, he's my everything. Oh, I wanted it. No, he's not.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
and when I hear that, I cringe because I'm like, you just set yourself up to be let down.
Yeah, like Antoine told Simone, like everything that you're asking for me to be, I can't be that. And he was honest enough to tell his wife that, like, but she was honest enough to tell him what her expectations were. And that goes part of that post.
Yes.
It's like, are these things communicated?
That's it.
Are these things communicated? I want to be kissed. I have to ask you to kiss me. I have to ask you to hug me. I have to ask you to call me and tell me how your day was. Do I have to ask, or whatever she said. No.
Come on, TT in the room.
Honesty. Honesty is.
Don't you rewind this tape. Don't you rewind this tape, TT. Don't rewind.
Simone said honesty is a healthy expectation. Yes, it is, Simone. No, he's not everything. And it's okay. That's right.
Yeah. And then too, I think also, I know, is you should expect to be respected as an equal.
Yeah.
Because in marriage, now I get what the word says about honoring her as the weaker vessel. Okay.
Right.
However, you are both equal in this, so there is no I'm above you and you're me. No. You should expect to be respected as an equal. All right. And you should expect to also be honored in the same fashion that he or she wants to be honored. It has to be equal. Okay. And even with, oh Lord.
I see that. You was talking good. I'm like, oh.
So, because again, and this is another touchy subject, but here we go. Submission is also equal. It is not one-sided. It is equal. Okay. So you both have to submit to each other in the marriage, and then submission then kind of alters based on what it is in the marriage. So in my house, my wife makes most of the financial decisions because she's the better money manager.
Right.
So I would be a fool to try to use the whole, well, I'm the head of the house. Oh, okay.
Right.
My God.
And then she's gonna say, okay, well, you and your head of the house self can be in the cold house because I'm going where there's heat.
Mm.
So just so you have that's another healthy expectation is that you could expect that we should be equal in this in at every level, and that there is no superior subordinate. No, there's none of no. Now I understand it from biblical order. I get it. But even in biblical order, there is even then they don't play this subordinate inferior from a point of abuse and manipulation.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
Man, that's good, bro. Because when you were saying that, I'm like, it's almost like it's a perversion of that. Now it's like, yo, you better submit to me. You know what the word is? Like, and literally use the word to be combative. And it's like, this is your spouse. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what are you really trying to subject yourself over? The weaker vessel is like, no, I get it.
It doesn't show that you're strong.
Right.
You trying to prove someone's weakness doesn't show that you're strong.
Yeah.
You're
definitely
weaker
good. It can
than
be
them.
perverted. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's really good.
Woo!
Healthy expectation. We'll get back to that. That was, definitely, but that was some good points. I hope you guys were taking notes.
Yes.
Bridget was.
Yes, Bridget is hashtagging. Yes. Hey, Bridget, we gotta appoint you as you a top fan. Go ahead, Sister Bridget.
Bridget is our secretary.
Yes.
You better check Bridget notes.
She gonna call out the minutes. The minutes in the church. Read back the minutes, Sister Bridget.
Bridget, she has a question. How do you handle the times when you have to give extra and it's not returned? So handle the seasons. You handle the time when you have to give extra and it's not returned.
That's touchy too.
Yes.
Because it really depends on the situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because like right now, there's not, I'm gonna try to keep it together when I say this. But if the spouse, if she's just, it's one thing if they're unable to give back in return at a certain level. It's another thing when they're unwilling.
Yeah.
Unable, unwilling.
That's good.
So you have to make the determination as to are they unable to or are they unwilling to? Because if they're unwilling to give back or try to return it when they see that you're giving extra, if they are unwilling, then that's a whole nother animal.
Yes.
That's a whole nother spirit.
And
if that goes unchecked and undealt with, it's going to tear the marriage apart at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think if they're unable to, then this is the part where it's just, hey, it's for better or worse until it turns around. When they are unwilling to, whoa.
Yeah. Where has
yeah.
that disconnect happened? Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Where's the disconnect? When did that happen? When did? Yeah. Try to pinpoint that and see if you guys can come to a healthy communication of that. If not, involve the appropriate counseling.
Yeah.
To try to get to the bottom of that. And I don't know. That's a real good word. Are you willing? I mean, are you unable or are you unwilling? That's a real good one.
Yeah. And because in dealing with that, I hope that answers or gives an answer to Bridget's question. I think it was Bridget that asked that, because again, both of the situations are different. Both of them also can be turned around. So both situations have the ability to do a 360 and turn around. When, being unwilling, that's going to take some work. And that's going to take some time. And like Kendra said, you're going to have to pull in some counseling, maybe.
Right.
Both therapeutic counseling as well as some spiritual counseling, because there's some spiritual unrest also going on that's causing that behavior. If you're a Christian couple, if you're a Christian saved couple, then you need the therapeutic, you also need the spiritual, because there's some stuff going on there. And there's a spirit that has creeped in that is eventually going to become a monster if you don't check it.
Absolutely.
Sheesh.
So
that's another thing. Checking things if you can, while they're small.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was a quote that I read from one of the daily devotionals we were doing. I forgot which one, but it was so good. I think I'm gonna look for it and do it again. That's how good the devotional was.
Yeah, we'll start doing that in here too as a sidebar. Like we'll start I know she does it in the
yeah, we do it in the women's group.
In the women's, I think we should do it as a collective too. That'd be kind of cool to see the feedback in the daily devotional. So we'll try to tie that in too. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but what he said was going from the scripture, never let the sun go down on your anger. And he said anger not undealt with anger is dangerous because it has fermented. And when you think about wine, the older the wine, the better it is supposed to be. But if you think about it, with anger, that it goes the same way. It's kind of flipped though. Right. But the older that you allow that anger to sit and fester, it grows, it ferments, it gets stronger, as you will, if you will. So dealing with things and talking with things while they're small, if you can, because there you go. Are you unable or are you unwilling? Because there's some things that, I guess we talked about that on a previous, maybe last week. There's some things that's like, do I need to talk about this right now? And, there's one that may feel like, yeah. And then there's another that may feel like, nah. But if it's important to at least one of you,
right.
It doesn't have to be important to both of you. But if it's important to one, then make it a priority to both, with conversations. Yes.
Yeah. Because again, and this happened, early in our marriage. And what happened was, the equalness had flipped so hard to her giving and being more, and I was giving less and less because I was giving most of myself outside of the home, wrapped up in church and ministry and music and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what happened is that Tonette has a trigger. So when when that thing went that way, she went into mother mode. When she went into mother mode, it was like I was like non-existent. Which is with, and I've heard this from other women who say, if she gets there, you got a problem. You have a big problem that you do not want to have. And the worse it gets, or the more she plugs into that monster is going to turn around and eat you at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you have to, so you have to figure which one first. You got to determine which one it is. Okay, you got to determine which one it is, and you also have to be understanding and compassionate enough to know that, okay, this is a case where she's unable. Okay, so she's unable, so therefore it's not anything that she's not willing to do, but she's in a position, he or she is in a position that they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even that is a difficult place to be in,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you're still going to feel like, man, just all on me. I just got to carry everything. Gosh, you still going to feel that way because you're human.
Right.
And it's okay. But then that's when you have to gather yourself and say, okay, all right, that's it. But clearly, she just cannot, or he can't, for whatever reason. Because that's a difficult place. Because if you're not careful, the enemy can influence your frustration, and you can start to feel like she's unwilling to do it. If you're not careful.
Absolutely.
So you have to determine which one it is, and then you make the determination really as to what you have to do. And for those and for those listening, I'm gonna really say this. You are going to need to have a very strong prayer life if you're going to be in marriage.
Yeah.
You are going to have a strong prayer life, because there are times where you are going to have to pray for your spouse and cover your spouse when you don't want to.
That's the truth.
There are going to be times where you're going to have to encourage your wife or your husband and minister to your wife or your husband, and you don't want to. You don't have it in you. You just like, look, I'm sick of this fool. And some other words you might say.
Yeah.
But you got to pull it in, and you still have to pray for them.
Yeah.
And you're going to minister to them, and you're going to have to pick them up, and you're going to have to encourage them. And a lot of times you're going to have to do it when you don't want to. You got to have a prayer life, because that's also going to help you when you get in the situation of, is this unable or unwilling? So I just want to throw that in there. You better know how to pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better know how to intercede.
Absolutely.
You better know how to go into that secret place and be in there. You better know.
Yeah. Let that be a healthy expectation for yourself.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yes. Lord, Erica said, what's the line between someone nagging and reminding? What's the line between? There's a thin line. A thin line between it. Yeah, because it goes in how you're doing it and what's your motives.
Somebody killed. Erica. Yeah. Killed.
Yes. There's a thin line, because it depends on your view. It depends on your motives, your heart behind it. Are you doing it in love? If you're doing it in love, it's reminding. Are you doing it to be what's the word? Start with an S. Are you doing it to be nasty? What is the word?
Stank?
Not stank. Sarcastic. There we go. Are you doing it to be sarcastic? Then that's nagging. Yeah. What's your intent behind it? In your tone? That's probably mine.
Yeah. Nagging is a real thing. It really is a real thing. And sometimes
Erica trying to get somebody killed.
Sometimes they could also be very easily confused because nagging and reminders sound the same and look the same. They look the same. So you can kind of confuse the two of, you know, which one it is. If I had to pick, I would say if you are 24/7 all over me all the time, now that's nagging now. That's, you know, but if it's me, if it's me telling you, or, you know, you tell, hey, I'm gonna take care of it, I'm gonna take care of it, and I don't take care of it, and then you just say that, now you said you was gonna do this now, you know, then that's something a little different. But I mean, if you just are over them, like, you wake up, is it? You go to bed, it's it. You come home, you eat lunch, it's it. It's coming in a text, it's coming in an email, it's coming in the inbox.
Check your email, check it.
You know,
I'm reminding you.
That's and now, you know, and now, you know, if you see it on a Facebook post, Instagram post, you know, because
I'm reminding you, I'm tagging you. You see, you tag.
It's a very thin line. It's a very thin line.
It's a very thin line.
But they also can be confused at which is which. They look the same. They sound
Right. Yeah. It's coming from the same person. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It depends on.
That's the safest thing I can say.
That's real good.
Safest way I can say it.
It could be how the person received what was said. Absolutely. Because that's what I was going to say. I guess is it really more predicated on the receiver of it? It's like, oh, are you nagging me? Because it's like, wait a minute, no, I'm really not. I'm reminding you. But to you, it's a nag.
Yeah.
It's telling us that something's delivered.
What?
Alexa's pretty dope. But yes, so yeah, Erica, that's what it is.
I ain't touching that subject.
Amen.
I'm about to get kicked out, Blair. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Mighty God.
Hey,
because you have some people who don't like repeating themselves. You know, some men and women who don't like repeating themselves. So if I have to tell you more than once, it's going back to what Frida was saying. If I have to talk to you about it, if I have to remind you, if I have to say, mention it, Kendra, what Kendra's going to do, I'm going to ask you once. I'm going to read your body language. I'm going to see your response. And then if I don't like neither one of them, I'm going to do it myself. Yeah.
Hey, Kurt, did you see Simone just put her husband?
Listen.
Ooh, she put him
Simone said, yo, I swear I'm looking at the same bathroom piece my husband was supposed to install last summer. And every weekend he says, I'm going to get to it. So I just pray for patience, Lord, because I tempted to nag when it's been a year since I've asked you to do something. Simple.
Oh my goodness. I'm not I'm praying for you, brother Antoine.
Yeah, you got my prayers, brother.
Because it's the truth anyhow.
My Lord.
The truth anyhow.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I've done that a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it before my wife say it, because know it's coming in the comments or something. I'm gonna just go ahead and put me out
there. Come on, compose, TT. Compose that comment.
Open up your Bibles. Come on, TT. Don't do that to
I have
man of God.
A couple of times during the day. I admit it. Yep.
What about you, Brother Kurt? No.
Ain't my time to testify. Brother Blair was testifying.
It ain't my time to testify.
I am a reminderer.
She's a reminderer, yeah.
Yes, TT. Yes. Strong reminderer.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Howdy do, honey.
That is funny.
Yes. So we're about to end this. We're about to
Jesus,
end this
Jesus.
live. It's been amazing. So based off of
Yes.
if I don't about this in a year, based off of the post that we had in help a certified reminder. I'm sorry. I keep going back. Based off of the post of Frida, what she put on, she's if she has to ask you for it, she doesn't. If I have to ask you, I don't want it anymore. There's some who agree, there's some who disagree, but on both sides of the spectrum, we have an understanding. Communication is what helps that situation.
That is it.
Right there. Communication. Sorry, I'm seeing something on
Okay.
the camera. But yes, communication is what helps that situation, and grace, and also being open in communication. So what is that? Communication point A point being open to receive, well, to actually have that communication, to actually talk and be mindful, have a gracious tone, a tone of grace. Don't talk to me like that. Have a tone of grace, and also part B, be receptive to what it is, because Blair, I don't know how many times we have Kurt and I have talked about it, but it just sounds so much better when it came from your lips. But you know, however he get it, whatever way he get it, Blair.
Community. I'm about to leave.
Whatever way he gets it, Blair. As long as he got it, hot shot.
It came from the man of God.
Doc.
It came from the man of God, huh? You was just spewing fire.
It's something that you just said too. That's a very good point. Is we have to give each other enough grace.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give each other enough grace in the marriage. You have to extend grace, because grace is available, and the same grace that you want extended to you, you have to extend it, to each other. Understanding that grace also runs out for certain things. So grace don't just stay.
We ain't God. Come on.
It has a point where the grace for something can be ended, so and that's a case where that you don't abuse the grace that's extended.
Yeah.
But I think that's a point that sometimes gets lost in marriage also, is that you got to give each other some grace. You gotta,
yes.
You just have to do it. You got to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bridget is on it, and she said, "I accept payment in large bills from my secretarials." It's in the mail. It's in the mail, Bridget.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you two big packages of that $9.99 spring water that be on BET at 2:30.
All right, we're about to end this line.
The miracle
from Peter Popoff.
Yes.
I know Sister Bridget, she needs some of this spring water.
You know what? Erica said, I also think her perspective was she wants whatever her spouse to do to come from a sincere place, not just because she asked for it, not just because she said it. And that's a real thing. It's like, if I have to ask for it, it's not really is it really from
right.
A pure place? If you see that this needs to be done, garbage. If you see that the garbage is piling up, I have to ask you to do that? No, because we both walk past the same garbage. If you see that I'm hurting, or if you see that, I'm going through something, I'm grieving, or you see that my countenance is down, and I have to ask you to come and hug me, it's not from a pure place. And it's like, so yeah. Yep. Having that communication, that's what helped that situation.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So yeah, that was a lot. That post had a lot to it. But I think for me, it really encapsulates why marriages suffer the way they do also.
Oh, yes.
Encapsulates why marriages start with a bang, but they end with a bang too.
My
And
God.
and that bang is that gavel from that judge.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, you came down that aisle and you had that dress on and you had that big wedding and that reception and you went on that honeymoon and had all that. And then when it was time to come home and now start to live day to day, they were not, I don't want to say, I don't want to say ready, but you find out that you were not really all in. Was because you did like you like it's like you forgot the honeymoon was gonna end at some point.
Yeah.
You know, you forgot that the great fun that you had for them 2 weeks or for those 2-3 months, usually the first 3-4 months of a marriage or sometimes 6 are usually great because y'all happy to be together and you know all this other stuff and then boom, life stuff comes. And you find out like, whoa, wait a minute, what I getting myself into? Yeah. And so I think that post just encapsulates why marriages fall apart the way they do at such a rapid space. I mean, nowadays, you know, if we get married today, you hope you can make 30 days.
No, for real. Yeah.
I mean, like you literally hope if somebody gets married today, especially with somebody that you know, you happy for them, but in the back of your mind, I'm like, man, I hope they can get 30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they'll just, if they make 30 days, they got some hope.
Yeah.
There's a bit of hope if they can make 30 days. But and that's why, because when you know marriage is so glamorized, it's like a power move, it's like a boss move.
Yeah.
And you be like,
that's true.
I'm like, that's not no boss move. Do you understand? That's a for real life move.
Yeah. It's like truly life altering. And honestly, think of everything. You know, marriage isn't okay. Think of everything that you have started that you were happy about. Think about when you first got to your job. Think about when you first got saved. Think about all the things that you did. Think about everything that you did when you first, you know, the first time for everything. You were on fire, you were there early, you were this, you were that, you were happy. But then once you got comfortable, you got the hang of it. Like when you first started driving, when I first started driving and I got my license, I was driving everybody everywhere. And now I'm like mad when Kurt is sitting in the passenger seat. Like, I don't understand why I have to drive. What is taking Julian so long to get to be, to get his license? He's not even of age yet. But somebody hurry up, because, like, you kind of like get the fire. I don't want to say the fire burns out, but it kind of like, you get comfortable, you get the hang of it. And now, where you were two-handed, now I'm just one-handed. It's just like you're coasting. And in marriage, that is, it's really, 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 it's a place that you don't really want to coast.
No,
because you always want to be on your toes, not to the point where you tire yourself out, you burn yourself out, but to the point of, you want to always stay fresh, you want to always stay revived, and you want to always let each other know that they're important.
Yeah. To Eric, to the question Erica asked earlier about healthy expectations, I got one more for her. I got one more.
Yep.
Just popped in when I thought about it. Do expect your husband or your soon to be or coming husband or wife, expect them to be an addition that is not already in your life. but do not expect them to come into your life and bring completion to you. You should have that completion already. You should be already whole as a person, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You should be whole as a person.
Is that Pastor Keith? Pastor Keith said that before.
Do not expect,
Yeah.
do not expect them to come in and now make you whole and complete.
Yes.
That's completely unfair to the other person.
Yep.
Yeah.
For you to expect that, because they can't make you whole. They can't complete you. They don't have the capability to do so. But they can be the addition to your life that you don't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can be that. They can be, I got everything in my life, but you are the one thing that's not there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So I wanted to throw that because what I hear a lot too. Oh, I want my husband to complete me. Oh, he's gonna make me whole. Oh, no. Work on your wholeness now before you get there. Work on you being complete now before you get there. Don't force them. Don't make them have to do that. Don't put that on them. Because again, they're gonna let you down. They're going to let you down. Because again, God is the only one who can make you whole and complete.
Come on.
He's the only one capable of that.
Yes. Yes. TG said, you are not a half. The spouse should be the bonus.
Cleave to one another and be one.
Another healthy expectation, cleave to one another and be one. I think that's one of the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So M2M has been real. It's been real. So thank you so much.
Blair. Thank you so much, man. And of course the Johnsons that jumped in the room.
I
know they had to jump out.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, Blair, you're dropping nuggets, sir.
10-piece.
Yeah. Spicy.
Spicy nuggets. What?
With the McDonald's barbecue sauce. Or the Smawsome sauce from Wendy's.
Yes, indeed.
Whatever, Chick-fil-A's.
But yes, thank you so much, M2M community. We are still trying to figure out how to do this, and we're coming up on the anniversary. So with COVID, it's just like how we will, because we wanted to do something like besides being on here, but it's just hard to kind of try to get everybody in the same room without it being over protocol. But I don't know.
Yeah.
More to come on that because we just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because
they're
opening up the world again. Yeah. But we still want to be cautious.
We want to be smart.
Amen. So yes, M2M is turning 1. M2M is turning 1 March 29th. And we want to do something. We'll have something going on the 28th. So stay tuned.
Wow, it's been a whole year?
A year. The first video was March 29th. Yes.
They said, Bridget said, Blair, you got enough material for a whole marriage seminar. Hey. No, she ain't lying though. She not lying.
That's good though. That's good. Yes. We will talk too much about that. Yeah, we got stuff coming up. We got stuff in the works. So M2M, we love you so very much. Thank you
guys.
So
we'll talk to you soon
for tuning in. You guys have a great rest of the night.
Yes, indeed.
Man, that was great, Blair. Appreciate you, man.